Welcome to Wednesday, August 9th, 2023, your day with a podcast being brought to you by Cowboy State Daily. Well, what a day yesterday was. We'll go through what happened. A lot happened, wide variety of weather for early August. But the good news for at least the inner Mountain West and the western high plains, the severe weather threat shifts east. Now, not good for those to our east because there'll be a lot of severe weather in the Midwest today. But drier air coming in behind the system yesterday that triggered a lot of different weather will draw in some drier air. So it's going to be a pretty quiet day, one of the quieter days in this region we've had in a while. Temperatures will gradually warm up after starting the week cooler than average, but the major heat, anything really hot, continues to be bottled up in Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, the Southwest United States. So it will be warmer, but nothing crazy hot, especially considering that it's August. Now, over the weekend, starting Friday, through the weekend and into early next week, what I'll call a general coverage of shower and thunderstorm activity return. We actually see some moisture coming up out of Mexico, back into Arizona, New Mexico, and the Four Corners region. Some of that will get into the western slope of Colorado, Utah, then eventually into the Front Range and the High Plains areas, leading to general coverage of kind of more of a garden variety pattern of afternoon and evening thunderstorms this weekend and into early next week. Kind of a typical late summer pattern develops at the end of this week through the weekend and early next week. Pattern stays active though. In the long term, we see more of these Pacific fronts coming as we look ahead over the next week or two. So a pretty busy August really so far, and I think it's going to be staying that way. Now this is how yesterday started. Yes, that is fresh snow. Thanks, Dave, for taking this shot. The high Wind River Mountains and the high Tetons, both over the last couple of days, reporting snow above timberline as that colder, moist pattern from the Pacific Northwest pushed its way on through. Now, this big contrast that you're going to get in early August when it's snowing in the mountains down to just above tree line, this early in the season, that cold air aloft as it hits the warmer air to our south and east is going to cause problems, and boy did it ever. So it started yesterday with snow in the mountains, but then we did have this outbreak of some heavy thunderstorms and hail reports. The red is tornado reports, large hail reports in the green, strong wind reports there in the blue. And that was the area, especially right here, we were concerned about yesterday, and boy did that come to fruition. Here's a great shot. Dan Fitz and Jerry Dormus, storm chasers extraordinaire, headed down into northeastern Colorado. This was very close to Yuma, Colorado yesterday. The thunderstorm that generated this tornado was long-lasting, very intense, and this tornado was quite large, and it got very close to Yuma. And it also produced some very big hail. Here's a shot of some very big hail in the Gordon, Nebraska area. You can see lots of 1-inch size hail, but some that approaching 3 inches of size hail there. Dan Fitz also picked up this very large hailstorm near Kirk, Colorado, with that same thunderstorm that produced that tornado I just saw. So snow, hail, and tornadoes yesterday. Of course, we ended the day with a beautiful sunset down in the San Luis Valley of southern Colorado. Taking a look at the satellite photo this morning, boy, you can see certainly that upper level low now into the Midwest. It was back here yesterday over Yellowstone Park and is now moving in. You can see that orange, some drier air coming on in. But you see this down south? There's some moisture now starting to make a return and some higher humidity air down there. That's the general pattern of moisture that will come in later this week and into the upcoming weekend. There's the upper level low heading to the Midwest. So you're going to see the drier air in the precipitable water forecast today move in. The moisture here, though, with that low is going to end up doing this. So into the south central and central areas of the United States, going to be a lot of severe weather in these areas here. But notice the white. Thunderstorm coverage really drops off for a day, although we do see that moisture bringing a little bit of thunderstorm activity to the southwestern United States. This is for tomorrow. General coverage of thunderstorms return. The mid-Atlantic has some severe weather, and this is for Friday. The severe weather more towards the Midwest. Basically general thunderstorm coverage in the central and southern Rockies. Kind of a typical August pattern as we get to the end of this week and this weekend. Now by Saturday, high pressure is over Texas. With that eastward shift, that's why we will see Arizona and New Mexico see some thunderstorms this weekend into early next week. The jet stream not as wavy. It's more along the straight line, so that will allow some of this warmth from the high to get a little bit further north up into the region, and we will see temperatures rebound. But the real hot weather stays to our south. And this is basically the pattern that takes us through the weekend and into early next week, kind of a typical mid-August pattern, warm temperatures, afternoon and evening, widely scattered showers and thunderstorms around. But we're not going to see the coverage and the intensity of the thunderstorms maybe quite so robust. This is from today through Saturday morning. So really this is for the next couple of days. And a lot of this thunderstorm activity you see back here in this area here is coming tomorrow and as we work our way into the day on Friday with the heavier showers and thunderstorms with that low heading off into the east. Then as we get into the weekend, this is for late Saturday and the Sunday, precipitable water increases across the region. And therefore, daytime heating will lead to afternoon and evening thunderstorms. Again, this is kind of basic. Nothing really significantly deep with the moisture, but enough with daytime heating to generate afternoon and evening thunderstorms, even back over the Sierras and across the Great Basin into the central and southern Rockies. Dry, stable air up here will keep thunderstorms at a minimum across northern Wyoming, most of Montana, and the Pacific Northwest. More of the activity will be headed towards the Midwest there. Longer term, this is for late Tuesday night and Wednesday of next week, so basically about a week from today. We have this high in the eastern Pacific that keeps wanting to form. We've talked about this over the last week or so, and as long as that connection between the high in the southwest and the eastern Pacific continues, the jet stream is going to have opportunities to take dips. And there it is. So the middle to the end of next week, this could very well push in a couple more Pacific cold fronts riding along in the northwest flow again, pushing its way south. What that would do is keep temperatures moderate, keep them from getting too hot, and will bring occasional chances of thunderstorms and showers as those fronts move through. This is by next weekend. 10 days out, a pretty significant Pacific Northwest trough coming out of Western Canada. Whether or not we'll see this of this intensity, we'll see. We'll keep an eye on it. But there is an eastward shift of the high. See how far to the east the high is getting? Now, again, couple weeks early. This is a late August weather pattern, maybe arriving by next weekend. We'll see what happens, but it's going to be an interesting mid to late August if we do see these Pacific fronts continuing to be active. Have yourself a good Wednesday. We will see you tomorrow.